This is me. As a Chinese student, I think Chinese history is long like this, but American history is shorter. So that's why I thought American history is easier to pass. But why in English class we still need to learn history and I'm still struggling? Why so stupid? Now let's talk about my author. What's about her? Her name is Kate Chopin and was born with Kate of Flaherty. She was born in 1850 in St. Louis, Missouri. And she was the third of 5 children, but her sisters died in infancy and her brothers died in their early 20s. She was the only child to live past the age of 25. In 1855, at age of 5, she was sent to the Sacred Heart Academy, a Catholic boarding school in St. Louis. Her father was killed 2 months later when the train on which he was riding crossed a bridge that collapsed. And she quit school. Her grandmother, Victoria Verdon Charleville, oversaw her education and taught her French, music, and gossip. Kate was grew up surrounded by all smart, independent, single women. She grew up during the Civil War, and her family were slaveholders and supported the South. St. Louis was a pro-North city, and the Garishes were forced to move. This caused her to be separated from the one friend she had made at the Sacred Heart Academy, Kitty Garisk. Until Kate was 16, no married couples lived in her home, although it was full of brothers, uncles, cousins, and brothers in over 10 years. And things are all going down in the year of 1863. Kate's grandmother died 3 days before Christmas, the same year Kitty was banished. And Kate's half-brother George died in the war of typhoid fever. These unhappy incidents combined to create a strong skepticism of religion in Chopin. But in the year of 1865, things are going better. She returned to the Sacred Heart Academy, where the nuns were known for their intelligence, and she was the top of her class. She won medals and was elected into the Children of Mary Society. After she graduated in 1968, she wrote in her diary advice, "Just keep asking, what do you think?" In 1870, at the age of 20, she married Oscar Chopin. He was 25 years old and the son of a wealthy cotton-growing family in Louisiana. He was a French Catholic in background, as was Kate. Oscar was not an able businessman, and they were forced to move to his old home in a small Louisiana parish. Oscar died of swamp fever there in 1882. In 1884, Kate sold up and moved back to St. Louis to live with her mom, and to support herself and her young family, she began to write. She wrote a lot of short stories, essays, and novels. Here are some famous pieces, such like A Life Fable and The Awakening, and If It Might Be, and they are all about freedom and restriction. One of her famous stories is Darius's Baby. When the old couple in riding through the gateway, Valmont had found her lying asleep in the shadow of the big stone pillar. Madame Valmont thinks she abandoned every speculation, but the one that Darius had been sent to her is to be the child of her affection. The girl grew to be beautiful and gentle and became the idol of Valmont. And when she stood one day against the stone pillar, in whose shadow she had lain asleep 18 years before, the Armand Aubigny riding by and seeing her there had fallen in love with her. He ordered the cavalry from Paris and contained himself with patience until it arrived. Then they were married. Darius told her mom, "Oh, Armand is the proudest father in the parish, I believe. Terrified because it is a boy to bear his name. Armand hasn't punished any slaves since baby is born. When the baby was about 3 months old, then a strange and awful change in her husband's manner. The old love light seemed to have gone out. He absented himself from home and avoided to see his wife and the child without excuse. Presently, her husband entered the room and without noticing her. Armand, she called to him. She panted once more, clutching his arm. Look at our child. What does it mean? Tell me. It means, he answered lightly, that the child is not white. It means that you're not white. It is a lie. It's not true. I'm white. Look at my hair. It is brown and my eyes are gray, Armand. You know they are gray, and my skin is fair. Look at my hand. Whiter than yours, Armand. She laughed hysterically. But finally, he asked her to go home. The last thing to go was a teeny bottle of letters, innocent little scribbling that Desiree had sent to him. There was a letter in a bag, stand out. It was part of an old letter from his mother to his fathers. She wrote, Night and day, I thank the good God for having so arranged our lives that our dear Armand